What up kings, what up hustlers, how you doing? In this video, I want to talk about how to start your own school in Zimbabwe. I had several conversations and information just comes to me nowadays, and it's exciting. When information comes to you, you cannot ignore it, especially if you know how to hustle, you know how to make money, and you understand how to solve problems. You need to be able to analyze information, especially if it's a lot of information, connect all the dots, connect all the experience that you have, and try and make sense of all of that. If that's the type of person that you are, stick around. We're going to talk about how to start your own school here in Zimbabwe. I had a couple of conversations, and when you hear something more than, I would say, 2 times in a very short period of time, you better pay attention. I had 3 conversations, 3 different people. First one was an OG that has been doing business in Zim for a long time. This guy's up there, like it's a big deal. I won't mention names, we don't mention names over here. So this guy, I was sitting with him and somebody else, we were just chopping it up. You know how you do, just share information and just talking, conversational. When you're talking to people that are accomplished, that are successful, it always leads to ideas, business, and how to solve problems. It turns out that he confirmed some information that I read on Instagram. There's a guy called Chad Chawanda, I think. I'll put his Instagram somewhere in the description of this video so you guys can go watch his stuff and support him. And I reposted his video on my Instagram as well, so you can go check it out. He said there are a lot of people that are starting schools here in Zimbabwe, and they're doing quite well actually. And then when I was sitting with this OG, the same conversation came up, and here's what he said. He said in Zimbabwe there are 3,000 schools, and there is more demand than there is supply. And in order for you to meet the kind of demand there is right now, you need to build at least 3,000 more schools. I was like, what? Are you serious? I couldn't believe it. You tell me that there are 3,000 more schools that are needed in this country? The guy's like, yeah. Whoever gets into this business, it's a sure bet you're gonna make some money. Oh man, I was like, nah, I don't believe you, G. I don't believe you. You know me, I'm very skeptical like that. I like to do my own homework. I mean, I still respect the guy, don't get me wrong, I still respect him. He's a very successful guy. But still, I don't care what anybody tells me. I'm gonna do my own research and cross-reference whatever anybody tells me. So that's exactly what I did. I started to do my own research, talk to different people. I didn't have a car yet here in Zimbabwe. I didn't have a car. And that's actually a good thing. There's an app that I use called InDrive. It's kind of like Uber. If you guys are familiar with Uber or Lyft, it's kind of like that. Anywhere within the city is between $2.50 to like $5-6 if you're going the distance. What I mean by going the distance, maybe from like downtown to like Highlands, where I'm at right now. I'm in Highland Park right now, the new mall. So when I'm taking these rides, I get to spark up conversations with the drivers, and they drop some game on me. I'm like, yeah man, that's exactly what I need. So if I had my own car, I wouldn't have access to that information, because information is power, guys. Information is everything. Information is more valuable than gold. The person that has the information actually has more value than the person that is just sitting on cash. Because if you're just sitting on cash and you don't have information that can make this cash multiply, then what's the point? Do you know how many people have a lot of cash in their bank accounts with 0 ideas on how to double that money? Wealth is not necessarily how much money you have in your account, although it does help. Wealth is something that you attract by the person that you become, the type of value you can deliver to the marketplace. I'm going around and I'm collecting all this information for you guys, and I'm delivering that value to you guys. That makes me valuable. In the same way that you could attempt to do what I'm doing and be a valuable member of that society. This is why when people say that they need to have thousands of dollars saved before they go home to invest, nah, you're missing the point. You're missing the whole point, guys. That's not how you move. That's not how you do things. What you need to do is you need to come with your mindset right and an idea on how to solve problems. Anyway, back to this problem of shortage of schools. I'm going to go and acquire first-hand information, whether it's going to ChatGPT, for example, or DeepSeek, or even just go to the Ministry of Education, so they can tell me how I can get a license to operate a school here in Zimbabwe. And this is where your due diligence will come into play. So the route that most people take when they're starting their own school is this. They will get that license so that when somebody comes to them and pays tuition, they need to have a license. You know what I'm saying? Compliance, government compliance. And then after that, they will look for a piece of land. Once they purchase a piece of land, they will start building a physical structure of that said school. And then after that, the next hurdle would be to start looking for students. That's pretty much the path that most people choose. But I say, guys, if you're out there in the US, UK, Australia, South Africa, if you want to start your own school here in Zimbabwe, don't do it like that. That's the long way. That's the long path. By the time you find your own land, by the time you start building something, it's 3 years in. Let me tell you an angle that you can approach this. I'm going to give you some game now. I'm going to give you some game. And once you start your own school, let's talk. But let me give you this game. Here's how you do it. Step number 1, go acquire your license from the government. If you schedule time, I can do some research for you and figure out how much it is for you to get that license. And once you get that, make sure you get your TIN number so of course you can start paying your taxes, because the one thing that the government needs is for you to pay your taxes. So make sure you got that. Instead of you going to buy land and building a physical structure, start an online school. Start something innovative like an online school. We don't have those right now that are not only taking the local curriculum that is required by the government, but also taking that and blending in a UK or US based style of teaching or style of tutoring. Because some of you guys that are in the UK, you know some of these great schools that are in the UK and how they operate, especially with the efficiency. A lot of your kids, especially you got kids, some of those kids are already doing homeschooling right now. Why can't you bring that idea over here? Of course you can. Just because it's Zimbabwe does not mean there aren't people that have Wi-Fi or that don't see the value in that. There's so many schools here in Zimbabwe, all across the country. Just here in Harare alone, even just here in Highlands alone, you can get 20 students that are willing to enroll in an online school, provided the curriculum is on point and everything makes a lot of sense. There are parents that are willing to pay for that. I see them all the time right here in Highland Park. People with money over here though willing to pay for that because they know the value that you can deliver, especially if the curriculum is on point. It's all about the value. Now right now we're in such a global marketplace, global economy, that if your kid doesn't understand or is not exposed to the outside world, they're not gonna know what's going on. They're gonna be completely left out. Yes, there might be an all-A student and everything, but if they're not exposed to life outside of this bubble that we call Zimbabwe, then they're going to be left behind. And this is something that the wealthy elite of this country do understand. So if you bring in that level of quality, that level of value, you'll make it out here. So think about this. If you have 20 students and each student is probably paying you $500 a term, do the math. That's 20 times $500 a term. And all you have to do is find the best tutor, set up the infrastructure. Even if it means renting out a temporary physical location to get started, if you're not wanting to do the online thing, then do it. There are a bunch of empty office spaces all over the city right now that are looking for tenants. You can collect deposits because you're an accredited school, of course. Use those deposits to pay the rent, and then you get the cash flow to start the building process. Instead of it taking you 3 years, the old school way, this could take you anywhere from 6 months to 18 months. Now, if you're serious about starting this school thing, schedule time. The challenge that you have is finding students and how to enroll students. I can help you solve that problem. I can help you promote your school through online advertising. So this is Facebook advertising, Instagram advertising, YouTube advertising. I can help you set up all of that so that all these wealthy individuals right behind me here, they're going to start watching your commercials off your school and say, oh, I want my kid to go to that school. And then they'll give you a call. So if you're interested, like I said, schedule time. I'll talk to you soon.